Hey everybody, I wanted to show you how I string my Jasper doll. So I'm going to go through the process. This is a little tool I made. It's just a piece of wire with a little hook on the end. This is a lifesaver because she is strung with elastic to allow her to move. These are for her arms, and this is for the rest of her body, her legs and her torso. This little thing here is to keep her head on. But we will get to that in a minute. So first, I'm going to take these, each one of these strings is going to be her separate legs, but first they have to go all the way through her torso. So first I'm going to start with her neck piece, 2. Right. So nice and firm up there. And this little knot here will be hidden inside of her head, but I'm going to wait to put her head on until I have pretty much the whole body on. Now I'm going to take her her upper torso with her, shoulder blades. These are where the arms attach here. And this is right where I'm going to, that hole is nice and big, so I can actually string each one of, just put those in without my little tool. Now I'm going to grab her middle torso, just this little piece right here. I, of course, know the front is where her abs are and the back is where her little back is. And the way I can tell the top from the bottom is the top has a tiny little mark that you probably can't even see that I made. So that I know is the top. And the hole in there is really nice and big, so I can just put that in there. All right. So now I'm going to have her hips. So this is where I'm going to separate each of my wires. So these are her hips and her butt. I'm going to put one side in each hole. There's her torso. So now, this is the upper part of her left thigh. And what I'm going to do is hook this and just thread it up in this little hole here. The real fun thing about creating this doll was trying to figure out how all the joints worked. It really kind of was almost an engineering kind of puzzle job. This, I made it in her hips for 2 positions. So this would be her standing position, and this is her sitting, and anything in between. So this would be if, she was doing a split or something, or, which is the lower part of her thigh. I separated them so that she could twist her leg, which isn't very obvious right now, but it will be when her lower leg is on. So you can see those fit together pretty perfectly, and they can swivel. So this is the part where it starts getting a little tense. And now her darn knees, I can never tell which one's the right knee. So let me just, these are her little knee joints, so let me just double check. I think that's the wrong knee. And there's no real good place to mark on them, which is the right side I have, yeah, this is this is her left knee and shin. So I'm gonna, that one's really tight. But this is the part where I think my noviceness in making ball jointed dolls kind of showed through, is I made these from scratch. I really could have just taken wood beads and just drilled them. I think that would have been a lot easier. All right, but you can see how that just fits up in there. And now her shin, this one has the narrowest and longest passage, which is why I really need such a long wire. Pull that until it shifts right into place. So I did her feet a little different. I noticed in traditional ball jointed dolls, they'd have a hook here, and it'd be very easy to just, hook it on. But I noticed that it kept tearing out of the clay. So what I ended up doing is she is basically anchored on the bottom of her foot by a little piece that I have up here. A little anchor shaped like that and a tiny little S hook. That I made both of these out of wire myself because they're, you know, a pain in the ass. All right, so I'm gonna let that relax for a second because this came undone. I'm gonna hook this onto here. All right, so basically what I do is the tension's pretty tight at this point, so I'll pull it through, and I'll hold it firm with my pliers. I'll slip off my little hook and slip on my little anchor. You can see how it's like that. So now when I let go, it slides right in there, and it's gonna hold her leg pretty fast. All right, so now I'm gonna do the other leg. Which is much easier because I already know which leg is which. The sad thing about having the separation here is I couldn't really do any neat leg muscles like I did arm muscles for her, but I think I made her thighs massive enough to make up the difference. All right, and I know the upper part, I know the knee is going in correctly because it's a curvier shape on the bottom, so I want to put it in the flatter shape. Now through the other shin. Now this one's even the narrowest piece I have. You can see the hole came out pretty narrow. Ta-da! I'm gonna put on her other foot. And secure with that. Now here's my other little anchor right here. So I'm going to hook that on. I've had to remake these anchors like 3 or 4 times because I keep losing them because they're so darn tiny. All right, there we go. And I made a little inset, so that should fit right in there. You can see she has a really pretty good range of movement. Her legs are a bit bulky compared to traditional ball-jointed doll legs, mainly because most ball-jointed dolls are stick figure people, really, really skinny, but Jasper is not skinny, so that's part of the reason I was inspired to create her, is because there aren't any real, muscular or, thick ball-jointed dolls. There's a few artists that do make them, but not like Jasper. All right, so now I'm going to string her arms. So I've got my arm wire here, and it's basically going to fit inside of her torso like this. So first I'm going to hook one side. I'm going to go inside of her torso here and in through one of the shoulder joints. All right. Okay, so rewind a little bit. I screwed up. I put her wrong shoulder joint in, so I'm going to restart this. I'm going to, this side is her proper right shoulder with the little dot, which I don't know why I didn't remember that. It would have explained why when I put it on, I was like, huh, it's not really fitting that great. Here we go. Put her upper arm and her lower upper arm there. This is her side with the It's like one big band with a lighter stripe. I'm going to put her elbow in. And the good thing about the elbows is I made the lower part of the elbow joint narrower than the upper, so I would always remember what was which. And it's even better now because I've painted them. This one, the lower is light orange and the top is red, where on the other side it's the opposite. So that's how I always remember those. So I'm putting the forearm in. And her little elbow joint, her wrist joint here, which is just a little hollow bead that I made. It's actually curved on the inside for plenty of room for her, the hook on her hand to move around. And I'm going to use the same method I did on her legs, is I'm going to pull it tight, grab it with my pliers, remove my hook, and I'm going to put on her normal hand, just her normal relaxed hand. Let's hook that on. All right, so now I can let go. And there we go. There's one arm. And you can see she has a pretty fair amount range of motion. I made her shoulder joints so that she can really rotate her arm. The swivel here has made it a lot easier to move. Before I didn't have that, and it really limited her movement. She can really bend her hand, move her wrist. She can lock her elbow up like that, or she can have it relaxed. So now let's do her other. I've already threaded this through the other side because I had to restart her arm stringing because I screwed up. And now I'm going to want to pull this too. This one's going to be a little extra tight. We want this knot that's right there. We want that eventually to just sit in the middle there. So once this has tension on it, it should do that. But this is going to be a little bit more difficult than the other side. So it's kind of interesting how I had just the sudden inspiration to create this doll. I was into dolls as a little kid. I was interested, I wasn't really interested in dolls past that. Oops, I might want to do my elbow joint first. I was exposed to ball jointed dolls in college. I had some friends who had some ball jointed dolls, and I wasn't, I thought they were really neat, but they were way too expensive. There was no way I could dedicate that much money to that at the time, for something that would just sit on the shelf. But honestly, the lack of Steven Universe merchandise has really launched me into making this doll, because there's absolutely nothing. Like, this is, I want a functioning, articulated action figure, not a Funko Pop. So again, other side, this one's going to be pretty tight. Grab it with my pliers. And now this side, I'm going to put on her little red fist. Or not. I haven't undone that little eyelet yet, so I'm going to put on her normal hand. There we go. Yeah, those are tiny little screw hooks that when they're solid, they're, when you first buy them, they're just a closed hoop, and you have to open them up with pliers, and that's what I've done here. But I haven't done on her little fist, so there we go. There's her other hand. You can see she has pretty full movement of both arms. She can vogue. She can do whatever the heck she wants to do. So now, here is the final touch. So I made her two heads. I made her one I like to call her war face. This one is, she has kind of a maniacal grin. And I made one that's a bit more of a blank, not blank, but relaxed expression. But I wanted to make it more interesting, so I had her kind of looking off to the side. And just a little, you know, she always kind of has her brows furrowed, even when, you know, she's in good scenes. On this head, I've added a little bit of Velcro to help keep her wig on. I haven't on this head yet because I literally just put this on. But yeah, so those are the two little heads that I made. It was really freaking difficult to make them kind of look like the same Jasper. Almost impossible. So the way I made them is they're hollow up on the inside and they have little holes coming through the top of their heads. And the way I put them on is I put this little wire right up through the top. And then I bend that down. And then there's her head. So she can look around, she can look up, she can look down, she can actually turn her head 360, which is a little creepy, but, you know, I couldn't really not avoid doing that. I wish if I had done this in the future, I actually would have made her neck a bit bigger. It kind of got squished down in the sculpting process. That had actually happened to her middle joint as well, and I fixed that before I did the final work, but her neck joint was such a pain in the butt, I didn't want to remake it. And here is her little wig that I made. I made this out of alpaca and acrylic yarn. I used I believe it's pronounced Matsukido. I used her tutorial on how to make the wefts. I wish in the future that I had maybe got higher quality fiber, because I really would have liked this to be a lot longer and bulkier. But I'm pretty happy with it so far. And I'll put this right on her so you can kind of see her finished look. So there she is, my beautiful Jasper. And she's very, very naked right now. I am going to make her uniform. I'm actually going to try to find some opaque tights, and hopefully that will, I'll be able to use that to make the bottom part of her uniform. The top part, I'll figure that out. I actually might make it so that she'll have a pink diamond and a yellow diamond, like interchangeable. I also think I'm probably just going to make her normal clothes too. Like, you know, maybe like a little t-shirt, give her like a little flannel or something cute like that. But yeah, here she is. She is been a labor of love. I probably have a good, 100 hours of work into her, of sculpting and painting and sanding. I've been working on her for 4 months. Pretty much every day I'd work on her a little bit after work. But yeah, she is friggin' great, and I love her, and I'm planning on making more. My next doll, I kind of want to make as Pearl. She might prove a little bit more of a challenge, because if I keep her in the same scale, literally her joints are going to be 1/8 of an inch diameter. Like, they're going to be 1/8 of an inch wide. She's essentially going to be straws and beads. But you know, I am up for the challenge. Making this wig kind of made me want to make rose quartz, just because making rose quartz wig would be freaking badass. But anyway, so I'm going to wrap this video up because it's already way too long. I am going to edit a little bit, but all right, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for updates.